Shalom, shalom, all praise be to Yahweh by Shema Shai, Shema Kakadash, double honor to the elders and apostles of great most and all well. Shalom to the elect, man. Yeah, so major news, man. Yeah, there's been a lot of tension within the so-called African nations, man, in the land of Ham, which a lot of Jake's so-called Negroes are scattered amongst them lands, amongst Hamites too. But nevertheless, that there's tensions in the land of Ham, man. They don't want to deal with the Western BS, man. Yeah, they don't want to deal with the Western wine. Yeah, as it says here, this is Euronews.com. It says Niger. Yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce it because it's a French colony. Niger crisis deepens as European nations evacuate. Coup secures support from other juntas. Yeah. Niger was the leading supplier of uranium, yeah, and best to Europe. So of course, them European nations, these Edomites, best believe they'll be in vultures of the land of Niger, man, and various lands in the land of Africa or the land of Ham. Yeah, these Edomites will drain you dry, man. Yeah. And a key Western ally in the fight against jihadist groups in the region. Euronews asks Jean-Javier Jezaquel from the International Crisis Coup what regime change could mean for the West. A French military transport plane carrying Europeans from Niger arrived in Paris Wednesday. In the first such evacuation flight since mutinous soldiers ousted the country's democracy-elected president nearly a week ago and shut its borders. Yeah, so the coup. And this goes into scripture as well in the book of Esdras, which I'll get, Lord willing. France, Italy, and Spain all announced evacuations from Niger for their citizens and other European nationals, concerned that they risk becoming trapped by the coup that won back in Tuesday from 3 other West African countries, also ruled by mutinous soldiers. About 600 French nationals want to leave, along with 400 people of other nationalities, from Belgians to Danes. French officials said the first flight carried mostly French nationals, and officials hope to finish the evacuation flights by Wednesday. Yeah. With Niger's airspace closed, France coordinated the evacuations with a regime that ousted the nation's leader, but without withdrawing its support for the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum, diplomatic officials said. The coup has raised fears that the West African nation, a key Western ally in the fight against jihadist groups in the region, could pivot towards Russia. You see? Another superpower, yeah? Which is the enemy of the West, in particular Babylon the Great, America, man. Those are the two superpowers, Russia, yeah, that dwell in the land of Gog and Magog, which written in the scriptures, and Babylon the Great, which is America, man. The two opposing forces, the big dogs. Yeah. So Russia is gathering their troops, and America is gathering their troops for the Great War. World War III, leading towards World War III. But obviously other major prophecies need to be fulfilled too, such as the mark of the beast. But anyways, the point is, and get scriptures, the coup, sections of military trying to take power in their own hands and overthrow the government and stuff like that, and also the ejecting of these European nations, man. The nations in Africa, either Jakes or Hamites, they're tired of Esau, man. Everybody is tired of Esau, the so-called white man, ruining their countries, man. Sticking their nose in to people's business. Yeah? Always trying to influence their agendas, man. Like the LGB, all of that. They've been trying to be pushed out in Africa, but it's been rejected. Yeah. Let me get scriptures. Second Ezra 15. 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. So the Lord's going to bring destruction, man, and judgment. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So the whole world's going to be in chaos and in division, man. Different factions, different superpowers, such as America and Russia. Yeah? China. Yeah? Fighting against each other, and swords in their hands. The swords can be any form of weaponry, especially in this modern times where they have guns and missiles and robots and laser missiles and stuff like that. 16. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and in invading one another. Yeah, people want to be making revolts and revolutions and stuff like that, and invading one another. Yeah, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, or in this case, you can even include presidents too. Presidents, prime ministers, or any top officials, they're not going to regard them. Yeah, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Look at that. So people are going to start taking power to their own hands. Yeah, so it's going to go very chaotic, man. Like I said before, them Jakes and Hamites out there in the land of Ham are getting tired of Esau, man, because of the oppression of Esau. How is it that Africa is so rich in terms of resources, as they said, the uranium was there in Niger, why, but the population of the people is poor. Now, people like to throw in, oh, because the African leaders are corrupt. Yeah, you could say that too. But guess what? But who corrupt them? Who binds them into these unpayable contracts and stuff like that, or causes them to submit to these contracts, or sends puppet leaders there, sends CIA there, yeah, to destabilize these countries, so they can excessively extract all their resources and just squeeze them dry. It's Esau, man. The so-called white man always plays it. He's always the origin of negativity, man. He's always the origin of decay. He's always got his claws and nose in things, man. Yeah? Yeah? Wherever there's drama, there's chaos, there's corruption, Esau is involved, man. Yeah, the so-called white man is involved, and he is the author of that corruption. But people don't want to talk about that. As they say, Africa, the land of Ham, is corrupted, as if the West is not corrupted. You telling me America's not corrupted? It's called Babylon the Great, the land of confusion, man. Of course it's corrupted. Anyways, and it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. Well, guess what? They've been saying these. If you can apply this to what's happening to these Europeans, that have lands there. Guess what? Those are probably like white people that are living rich there, man, living good. Them Europeans. Yeah, some could have been there for holiday, whatever. But some, there's Edomites that like to, live outside of Europe and like to dwell in those lands of Ham, because obviously they can save more money and spend more money because of the currency. This will be easier for them, and they can just basically live like kings in those lands of Africa, man. Right? While at the same time looking at the people that are oppressed there and not give a damn about them, not help. Yeah. So you probably have rich, wealthy, or decent living Edomites that live in there. Yeah. And Jakes and Hamites are tired of seeing them, man. And also, they don't want Edomites to be involved anymore, man. Yeah, because they know what's going on. Yeah? A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able to. They're getting evacuated, man. They're no longer allowed to stay in the country. They're getting evacuated. Yeah? They have to dip. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So this is gonna this vibration is gonna scatter worldwide, man. Yeah, the West is gonna feel it. UK, America is gonna feel it. Different, you know, various places of countries of the world is gonna start edging towards those settings, man. That what's going on in Niger. Yeah, it's gonna be purge settings out here. People fighting, increasing criminal activity, chaos, man. Isaiah 14 and 12. How have thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Lucifer meaning light bearers. And the light bearers were bearers of a false light, but they still have of knowledge. And those Luciferians or light bearers is referred to as the elites, man. The elites of wickedness. People like your Rothschilds, Illuminati and stuff like that, man. The people that they know things, but the public, the peons, the people beneath, they don't know what's going on. They're just being programmed by them. Son of the morning, how have thou cut down to the ground? Yeah, they've fallen from heaven. Yeah, because their power structure is decaying. Yeah, the economy is decaying. Yeah, they're being exposed for who they are. Yeah, especially through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah, we're exposing them to them being the devils, Esau. That's their true nationality, man, which they like to hide from. They want to claim every other race but themselves. Yeah, and we're exposing their wicked deeds and their wicked plans. Yeah, which this weaken the nations. Yeah, they weaken all these countries. They destabilize. They send their CIA, MI5, MS6, whatever. There's secret militaries and all of that. Spies, they force feed agendas. They say they promote democracy, but it's all lies and propaganda that they promote. Yeah. Yeah, even like in Africa, they always like to send, they always treat people in Africa, the land of Ham, as guinea pigs, man. I believe when the COVID-19 was coming out, I believe it was actually the French, I believe. The French was saying, oh, we should put V shots in Africa. I believe it was the French. They said we should, it was on the news as well. They're saying that we should test these V shots in Africa first. These devils, man. You see, but then they want to live up in those lands in Africa and live good and that. But they want to use like Hamites and Jakes as a, forget Hamites anyway, but I'm just saying because the land of Ham has got Jakes and Hamites and even, for the most part. But, they just, these Edomite so-called white people are just pushing their cruel behavior on everybody, man. Using Jakes out there in those Hamite lands as guinea pigs, or these people should be the first to be experimented of the V shots. How wicked is that? Yeah, there was an uproar about that when that came out. I remember, and I believe it was the French that was saying that. It was French Europeans, white devils. Yeah, and that's them which just weaken the nations because they're colonizers. When you colonize, you break a country, man, and you force them with your ideologies. You oppress them. Yeah, that's why he's called the colonizer, man. He weakened the nations, destabilized, put puppet leaders there, proxy wars, all of that madness. Verse 13, but thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. You want to go to space and all of that, space stations and all of that. I will sit also upon the mount. I will sit also upon the mount of a congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So Esau, the devil, the so-called white man, has got a God complex, man. He wants to be. He's the basis of man, as the scripture calls him, but he wants to be the most superior man. Yeah, he wants to monitor everybody. He wants to enslave everyone and everything. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Yeah, so his economy is gonna crash. His beast system is gonna fall. Yeah, his plans are gonna fail. It won't succeed to an extent, because the scripture does talk about the mark of the beast. It is gonna come and it's gonna be active, but guess what? It will be short lived. Yeah, but they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Yeah, so everybody's waking up now. Jakes, Hamites, or what, all these different races and countries, you know, they're pointing the finger at the West, man. It's in particular like the Americans, but in general, Edomites, man. Yeah, European Edomites, whatever. You know, everyone's starting to wake up and see that you're the problem. You're the one that's fucking up all these countries. You're the one that's polluting the air, the water, the earth, corrupting the minds of the people. Yeah, you're the one that's the devil. You're Esau. You're the one that's the root of the problems. Yeah, and that's why they're getting kicked out, man. And this is a sign of the end times. This is a sign that you know, Jake. Well, this is a sign that Esau ain't getting no more respect. Yeah, because he's losing his kingdom. This is a sign that Israel is gonna be next. Yeah, when the Lord comes back. Yeah, this is a sign of the downfall of the kingdom of Esau, man. Babylon the Great. That's the beauty of it, man. Anyways, with that, all praise be to Yah, Bishim Shah, Bishim Kakadash, Shalom, man.